WGIG, What's Good in Galilee presents Midweek Update.
I'm Christy Richardson.
And I'm Lisa Powell.
And this is Midweek Update.
Starting off with some weird news, a slimy, stinky man showed up on the shores of the Mediterranean Sea this morning, claiming he had spent a long weekend in an unlikely place, in the belly of a whale. After spending hours trying to convince local officials of his story, they eventually told him to be on his way because his story just seemed too fishy. Too fishy? Fishy indeed, yes.
In other news, Samson, judge of Israel, was seen carrying on his back the city gates 40 miles up the road. After his tying and lighting foxtails stunt last week, we're not sure what the political leader will do next.
He still has the best hair in Israel, though.
He sure does. On this day today, we take note of the day that marks the greatest escape and one of the most unlikely escapes in world history. We take you back in time when the days were long and the days were hard for the 2 million Israelites in slavery in the land of Egypt. Long past were the days when their forefather, Joseph, was able to protect them. Long past were the days when they could remember the taste of freedom.
It had been 400 grueling years of slavery for these people. 400 years of building cities and monuments for the Egyptians. 400 years of back-breaking work in dangerous conditions and threatening edicts. Their situation seemed endless, tireless, and hopeless. There was no bright future for these Israelites, seemingly no end to their plight.
And then came an unexpected leader. A leader for the Jews who had grown up in the palace and yet had the same Jewish blood running through his veins as they did. Moses, brother to the Israelites Aaron and Miriam. Moses, saved as a baby by his sister with her quick thinking. Moses, raised as a brother to the Pharaoh. Moses, a man who became a fugitive of the court. He had been gone for 40 years after running away to escape the consequences of his crimes. And now he appeared, obedient to God, to lead his people where they least expected, to freedom. Here he was, an unlikely leader, scared to speak and unsure of his skills. All he had was the encouragement of his brother and sister and the directives of the one true God, Yahweh. And now it was up to him to convince the Pharaoh to do as God directed, to let my people go.
Moses went before the Pharaoh. He asked for one thing, for Pharaoh to set free his people, the Israelites, from the bonds of slavery. The Pharaoh was not convinced. He was not impressed. Even after plague ravaged the land, people, and the very courts of Pharaoh, he did not, would not let God's people go. Frogs, bugs, boils, hail, and darkness did not convince the man in charge. The Pharaoh would not adhere to Moses' requests. He would not soften his position. He was stubborn and he was hard-hearted. The Israelites remained in slavery.
It was only after the last plague, the plague of the Passover, that Pharaoh's heart was softened. In his grief over the loss of his firstborn son, he finally gave the answer Moses was looking for. Go. He wanted no more demonstrations of God's power. He wanted no more damage to his kingdom, to his people, and to his family. And so the Pharaoh, the most powerful man in Egypt, released his grip on the Israelites.
And that is how on this day, we remember how 2 million Jewish men, women, and children hurriedly packed their things and then calmly walked out of Egypt, free and unshackled. The greatest escape in world history came when an unlikely leader relied on the perfection and power of God the Almighty. On this day, God's people were free free indeed.
And now a few words from our sponsors.
As you consider the upcoming fall harvest, come on down to Adam and Eve Apple Pickers and get the helping hands you need. Fast picking, combined with getting those hard-to-reach apples, make Adam and Eve Pickers one-of-a-kind fruit pickers indeed.
It says here they are also available for handling snake infestation as well. Interesting.
And they have another business called Organic Outfits. All products made from twigs and leaves.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Looking for the perfect pet? Tired of the same old family farm animals? Looking for a little less domestic and a little more exotic? Look no further. Pick up your phone and call Noah's Boas. He will bring the wild to your inner child. Every animal you can think of, from snakes to sloths and toucans to tigers. And it doesn't stop there. Every day and all the time, it's buy one, get one free. Come on down to Noah's Boas. Flood the store with your business today.
Flood. And remember, God is good.
All the time.
And all the time,
God is good.
and that's the best news of the night.
See you next week.